Welcome to Oh Hell No with Nicole.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Oh Hell No podcast. Today I have Colby Jones. He's an entrepreneur, and we're going to talk a little bit about what he's doing with his life and what his passions are and things like that. So welcome, Colby. Thank you for being on the podcast.
Well, hello. Thank you. Thank you for having me on the podcast. I really do appreciate it.
No problem. So what was your major in college?
My major in college, it was originally it was originally aviation. I went to school to be a pilot, but I switched that to business and travel administration.
Okay. So when did you decide you wanted to become a pilot?
I decided in high school, I'd always had a thing for flying airplanes and helicopters and whatnot. So it'd been burning in me for a long time, but I didn't follow through all the way until I went to college.
Wow. So did you actually ever learn to fly?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I can fly.
Oh,
I can
wow.
fly. I can land. I had my solo. I can do that. So if we're ever on a plane and they need a backup, I could do the job.
That is pretty cool. So what made you switch your major to business
Um,
administration, right?
yeah, business and travel administration. So it's kind of a long story. I'll try to give it the quick version. I was in college and partying like a lot of us tend to do in college. And between that and I had a house with 6 other roommates, we bought a big old house. So between that, the mortgage, having a job, and I was also playing hockey, college hockey at the time too, with practice and games and everything else, I didn't have time or money to keep up my flight hours or to keep paying for the flight instruction. Because going to school, we have ground school and all the sim work, but we don't actually get to actually fly real planes. That's what you have to do on the side. And between all those things going on, I couldn't keep up with it.
Okay.
Yeah, I know.
Did you go to the office, the admissions office, or, and talk to them about switching your major, or did someone say, hey, you should switch to this major because of these opportunities, or what was it that made you pick that major?
Yeah, it's a good question. So what it was business and travel administration was actually my minor. So I just basically flip-flopped my major and my minors, and I was crushing business and travel administration anyway. I don't normally tell this story, but it's kind of fun. At least some people can relate. So when I did make the switch, once again, it's college, first year college, second year college. I'm partying like any 19 and 20-year-old does, right? And we had a very big, long project, like a whole semester long project. And because I was screwing around and I was young and dumb, I blew it off until the day of class. And I wrote my project on the light rail, which is just the train to school. And it's like 30-minute ride. I wrote the entire thing on that, and I got I got best in class.
Wow. Great under pressure.
Yeah,
Oh,
I just crushed it. So I was like, pretty good at this. And from there, I started actually applying myself, and it just kind of took off.
so when you finished college, what did you decide that you were going to do with your life?
Well, about that. I didn't actually finish college. So after that project, we had another very long project, and you can guess what I did, and you can also probably guess the outcome 100%. So that's when I actually really applied myself to the course. I did one more semester, and I was, it's hard to say it without sounding like really cocky, but I was the best. I was the best that she'd had. I'm not some anomaly, prodigy, special superhero guy or anything, but I was just the best that she had, and I realized that I don't need to keep paying tuition to learn stuff that I already know. Granted, I was still learning stuff. Don't get me wrong. You can always learn, and I was still learning things, but majority of the stuff was just I already had it. So I decided to buy a travel agency and drop out of college. And that's what I did. And I never looked back.
Wow. So now I just like want to do a little recap. Now you said when you were younger, you always been interested in flying, and you just love that. And your
Hmm.
minor was in business administration and travel, right?
Yep, correct.
And then you end up leaving school early because you were probably bored because you felt like you were just crushing everything and doing it, and you just wanted to jump into the real world and get started. And then you ended up buying a travel agency. So even though you didn't become a pilot or whatever, you still was following this passion somehow, some way, right? I love pointing out stuff like that because that's the whole point of my podcast. So I just want
Yeah,
to I just want to align everything.
you
So,
got it correct. And just so you know, I did become a pilot on the side. I don't have my medicals anymore, so I don't have my pilot's license, but I did actually complete that, just so you know.
awesome. Look at
Yeah.
you, Colby. So you bought this travel agency, and when you bought it, what did you do?
How do you mean?
Like, okay, you go out and you just say, I'm going to buy a travel agency. Did you know anything about a travel agency? Did you have anyone to help you or guide you or
I do. So, yes, I had experience with it. Yes, I had somebody to guide me. It was actually my mom's travel agency. So, she started a travel agency when I was little. She just started it to travel the world with myself. That was all she started it for. Wasn't to make money. It was just so she could travel around with me, get discounts and hookups, stuff like that. And we totally did. So, I had some experience with it, but she was a flight attendant,
mm-hmm.
so she already had her income and whatnot, and this was just kind of a side thing. And since I was in school and whatnot, we still traveled, but not a ton. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do this and try and make a living out of it. So I had her to help me kind of get my feet wet still, because there was a lot of things I had to learn, obviously, that you just can't get from the classwork and whatnot. But she was a great help for me initially, definitely.
Wow. The agency that you bought, is it called Interline Cruise Connections? Is that still the business that you have today?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, cool. So, guys, I really didn't tell you the name of his agency like I knew what it was, but I just wanted to build up to it because, we got to keep you guys entertained.
Yes, we do.
So, what is Interline Cruise Connections? Give us the nitty gritty.
Yeah, yeah. So we're a travel agency just like anything else, and yes, travel agencies totally do exist. The ones that don't were because they were stupid, pretty much. I try not to be stupid, but I have my moments. My ex-girlfriend will tell you I'm completely stupid, but oh well. Seriously though, we do everything. So we specialize in cruise, but we absolutely do hotels, all-inclusive resorts, anything of that nature. The one thing that I don't really tend to do too much of, I will if somebody needs it or calling in a favor, is just a flight from like Denver to New York. Hey, I want to go to Vegas for the weekend. I don't need a hotel. I've got that. I just need a flight. That's the stuff we don't do. But anything else travel related, absolutely, we got it.
And you do this across the world, or is this a specific area?
Really good question. Worldwide. So I have clients all over the world. Somebody booked on my website not too long ago from the Congo. That was pretty crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, Congo. I didn't realize that they go on lots of cruises, but apparently those people do. Not too long ago, maybe about 6 or 7 years ago, this was a fun one. I like to tell this story. I had some clients from Israel, and in the background, I keep hearing, this noise. So we asked them, I was like, "What is that noise?" And they said, "Oh, those are the bombs
Oh my
being dropped on
God.
Israel, just down the street from us." And I was like, "What are you doing on the phone with me? Go, in a bunker or something. Go,
Right.
go get safe." And he's like, "No, no, no, we'll be okay, and that's why we're calling you to get on a cruise and get out of here." And I was, so like, "Okay, you got
Wow.
it." So yeah, we've got people all over the world. Majority of our people are definitely here in the States and locally, Canada, etc. But we're worldwide.
That's pretty amazing.
It's fun.
So, what do you love the most about what you do every day?
Hmm. There are a lot of things that I love about it. A few of them, one of my favorites is, as corny as it totally sounds, because it really is, and I get made fun of for it, but I like to live vicariously through all the people that we send everywhere. You know, Sitting here in Colorado, sometimes when it's snowy or whatnot, it's just fun to hear these people go on their first Caribbean vacation and come back and just be like, "Oh my gosh, Colby, it was everything you said. Thank you so much." It's kind of nice to just imagine being on the beach with them, dipping your toes in the sand and being nice and warm. So I really like to just live vicariously through them. I also like to help people just experience the world because there's so much out there, so many different cultures, different ways of doing things, and I feel that when people travel, it makes them a more well-rounded person. And so it's really fun to hear their experiences when they come back and potentially how it has changed them. And I really like to hear that as well. So those are a few things that I really enjoy from all my clients that I've sent all over the world.
Nice. My mom, she loves cruises. Like she's going on a cruise next well, in November.
Oh, yeah.
We went on a cruise last no, was it November? Yeah, we went on a cruise last year. Yeah, I can't even remember where I go. But she's going on another one again. She's like addicted. It's crazy. But it was a really good time. And I'd like to do like a European cruise or something exotic, not
Hmm.
just like the Caribbean. But yeah, I definitely think it's really a nice experience.
They are. They're super addicting. I know what she's going through. You
Yeah,
get the cruise withdrawals.
she loves it. So what does a bad day look like for you?
A bad day. Today, sadly, was a bad day. Two different sets of guests, completely unrelated. Both of them experienced a death, so they had to cancel their trip. That's a bad day. You probably don't want to hear that on the show, but that's a bad one.
No, we want to
Um,
hear everything. This is oh hell no. So
okay,
that
all
was an
right.
oh hell no moment for you.
Oh hell no. All right. So another one is we're very, very particular with details with clients, and we have everything in writing just in case they misunderstand. But one of the ones that we stress is we need to have names exactly how they appear on your travel documents. Now, in this circumstance, this would be passport for these guests, which means I need to know first, middle, last if that's how it shows up on your passport, and it's got to be exact. So if you're Bob, I need to make sure that your actual passport says Richard, not Bob. If it says Bob, that's cool. We just need to know, and we need to have it exact. And another fire that I had to put out today: clients leave in 2 weeks, and they didn't tell us that there were middle names on their passports until today.
Mm.
We've had this cruise and airfare and everything totally confirmed and locked up since March. So it's, what are we now? It's like 6 months later, 2 weeks prior, that they tell me this. That's a big problem because the airlines will not let them board the flights. Like, they're screwed. That's oh hell no, you're not getting on this plane because you're not who you say you are because there's no middle name.
Get out
Uh,
of here.
yeah, so they either have to buy brand new tickets or get denied boarding. I've done everything I can, and we may have put out the fire. Normally, I'd like to just say, yes, I've got that covered, but I've already got it approved through TSA, but that's just like, and the airline has it approved, but they still have to authorize it. So it's just,
Wow,
oh, that
yeah.
one was a nightmare too.
That is a bad day. So let's say they would have to buy new tickets. Do they get credited on the old tickets or is this a whole new charge?
A whole new charge. The airlines are very, very stingy. They don't care.
Oh
You get one
no.
shot to do it right, which is why we stress it to people. If I wasn't able to put out the fire, then they're gonna have to pay, which isn't too bad, $350 per person, so $700.
Mm-hmm.
All things considered, it's not too bad, but
Yeah.
I really don't want to see my valuable clients cough up another $700. So
Yeah.
yeah, it could be bad.
That's insane. You know what I usually do with my travel agent is I send her a picture of my passport. So listen,
Yes,
get it.
yes, thank you.
You know what I'm saying?
That's so
Like,
hard.
come on, people, get it together.
Yeah, send us the passport. Then we don't have to worry about mistaken words or spelling or anything. I can just
Exactly.
copy it. And if you lose your passport or you get pickpocketed, I got you back.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah.
Exactly. So it makes sense. With all that being said, what is the most important thing to you with regard to what your customers experience when they use your services?
It's definitely to help them make their memories and make them count. We'll do whatever they want. Obviously, they're the boss. We're going to give you all the guidance and anything, advice, tips, hacks, etc. along the way that you need. But I want every trip that you do for you to come back and say, that was exactly what I needed. Thank you very much. Or, oh my gosh, these things happened. We're going to be talking about those at Thanksgiving dinner and family reunions, etc. for every year coming, whatever. Uh, that's really what it is right there. Making those memories, making them count. I don't want somebody to just come back and say, "Yep, it was another good old Caribbean cruise." Uh, no, we need to find a way to spice it up to enhance it. Sometimes people just need to get away, and that's cool. I get that. If you need to just clear your head and escape the world for a few days and relax and just recharge, that's still good. We need that. But I really want to help people make those memories and really make them count.
That's amazing. So, so what is the hardest lesson you have learned as an entrepreneur, and how did you grow from it?
Oh boy, that's a tough one. God, there's been so many lessons to learn. uh, you definitely cannot make everybody happy, no matter how hard you try. That I thought for sure that always, if I do my job right, we could do that, but that's just not the case. And sometimes there are things that are completely out of your control, but are going to end up being your fault. A good example is the river cruises down the Danube. For example, right now there are low water, which means that the river cruises, well, most of the river cruises, AMA Waterways can, but nobody else can. They cannot traverse the river. It's too low. They'll bottom out. So what happens is this awesome, super cool river cruise experience for everybody turns into a really crummy motor coach bus tour thing. And it's just the way it goes because the water levels are low. Nothing anybody can do about it. Low water. And I get blamed for that. And I understand it, but it
That's
does
not
suck.
right.
It sucks. Yeah, you
Okay.
just got to take it as it comes.
Okay, that's a good one. So,
Yeah.
how do you define success?
People happy, people coming back for more. That's my success for sure, without a doubt.
And what about for yourself, like personally? Just like, running your business and stuff, aside from the customer side of things, but just your own, like, when you're chasing your goals or you're saying you want to do certain things with the business or whatever, like, what makes you feel like, yeah, I'm at a successful point in this stage, or no, I'm still not where I want to be, or
Yeah, I definitely think that for me personally, it's kind of three or four different slices of the pie. One is securing my future and the future for my son, so that he can go to college and hopefully finish it, unlike somebody that we know right now. Um, that would be one. Another one is that when you mentioned the keep growing aspect is I've been approached by a TV provider to have my own travel channel and travel show. Um, now I'm on your show, which is super cool too. So things like that, people keep asking me to do these things or be a guest here or there. I attribute that to a success because in my opinion, when you're not moving forward, you're moving backwards. So if people are asking me to be on their show or have a show of my own, it means that I must be doing something right because they're wanting it. So I attribute that as a big personal success in my mind.
yeah, absolutely. And let me just tell you, Colby, you have a great voice. Okay. Like, it's amazing. So I think this
So
is going to
thank you.
work out for you.
Okay, all right, I like that.
So, but do you feel like these opportunities that are coming to you, are they in line with, what your soul craves? Is this like, the stuff that's happening, is it stuff that really is, where you want to go? Or it's just an opportunity to make money and it's like, I'm just going to do it because it's a good opportunity.
Actually, it's where I want to go. It is. It's not the end all be all. I still have one goal in mind at the end. I would eventually I would like to. Everybody laughs at me, but I would like to have one entire year where every cruise we sell, every hotel, everything, 100%, not of the proceeds, but like actually 100% of all the money we make gets donated to a charity. So if you book a cruise with your mom, 100% of what I make from that gets donated, and you guys can choose where it goes to. If you don't care, then we'll just pick one. And of course, I will still be paying the salary for all my employees and everything else. So it'll be 1 year of a total loss, but I'd like to have enough money in the bank where I can eat that. But I think that would be really cool to do. And I think this will kind of, the things that are coming through like that, getting the show and everything else will give me enough money in the bank to be able to still maintain salary and pay, because I'll still pay for all the business expenses. The business will not make any money that year, but I think it would be really cool just to see if we get a lot of people to help charities out. I think that'd be a fun way, because people always donate for like Red Cross and the hurricane over in the Carolinas and everything else. I thought this might be a fun way to do it when there aren't any hurricanes or any natural disasters or anything of that sort going on. So yeah, it is what you said. It is
Nice.
where I like to see it go.
Okay, awesome. Is there anything that you wanted to do with your business that you haven't done because you're afraid to try?
I would have, if you would have asked me this 3 months ago, I would have said yes.
And what would that have
Absolutely.
been? Tell me.
But now it's no. So, because I've jumped off the diving board into the deep end, if you will. I made the leap. There was a few. So one was the podcast show that we'll be coming out with.
Mhm.
That was a big step for me. Also reworking a lot of our websites and other things. And this one probably is boring to everybody, but trying to go paperless in the office. And honestly, it scares me to death, because I am the worst person with technology, even though I'm young and I'm supposed to know it and whatnot. I'm actually like a 90-year-old man when it comes to technology. I can't figure it out. So going paperless is something that has scared the bejesus out of me, or whatever you want to call it. But it's happening. It's all in motion.
That's great. It's nice to change, I get what you're saying about the paper. I love paper. I like, I have like spreadsheets and things like that I have to work with in my day job. And I still print everything. I need to hold it and write on it and like look at it and bring it into meetings. Like I can't with the computer all the time. So I totally
Yeah.
get it.
What if like the computer goes down or something, or the
Right.
power's out? How am I supposed to help somebody? I don't know. It scares me.
Exactly. Just make sure that you're allowed to print if you need to. Don't cut that off, but it's nothing wrong with saving trees.
Yep, that's another big part. Try to help the planet as best we can.
So, what is the best piece of advice that you have ever received? And share that with us.
Gosh, there's a lot of good ones. One that is really resonating with me right now, and I actually just saw it just like yesterday, or was just, is people often say that motivation does not last. Well, neither does bathing. That's why we recommend it daily. I really like that quote.
Yeah, I like
I
that.
really like that, because sometimes we do need motivation, and sometimes I've been called a dreamer by a lot of family and friends, etc. And I hated it, to be honest with you, but it was things like these and whatnot that kept me going, and now I don't want to say I'm doing way better than they are. That's not where I'm at, but at the same time, it's like, had I listened to them, I would have just stopped in my tracks and been, I don't even know, I'd have been just stagnant. That's the word I'm looking for. I'd been stagnant, and I don't want to be stagnant. I want to keep going.
Exactly. So, what does your family say about you now? Like they probably thought, oh, please, you'll never fly. Go sit down. What are you talking about? Oh, you're gonna buy a travel agency? Okay, good luck with that. So,
Yep.
what do they say now that you've done all these things?
They don't say much, because I shut them up pretty good.
Okay. They don't even say, well, man, you surely made us proud. Like, that's great.
Yeah, they do. My dad and stepmom are very, very smart and very savvy business people, very successful. And so a lot of the moves that I've had to make have had a lot of risks associated with it. And here's another quote or inspirational or whatever that I like is, nobody that ever made it big didn't take a chance, or however that one goes. If you make it big, you have to take a chance to make it big. Go big or go home, whatever.
Yep.
and they don't like the risks that I have taken, and they've been wholly against them, especially the last 2 years, because I've made a ton of huge, I don't want to say make or break risks, but they're pretty close. Um, and they've been paying off so far, and this is it. Sorry, I keep circling back, but the best quote or whatever is bet on yourself. That's the one. Bet on yourself. If you bet on yourself, you're never going to lose, because just like that old saying, if you want something done right, you've got to do it yourself. Well, if you bet on yourself, you're never going to let yourself down, because it's you. So the big risks that I've taken, they've been adamantly against that. But at the same time, they're always, they're parents, so they're hopeful I prove them wrong, and I have, and they're very happy of that. But there's, as you get older, you get more conservative, and they still don't quite understand everything. But they deep down, they're proud, but they're on the surface, they're still, no, you can't do that. That's too risky. What are you thinking?
So when you want to make a decision regarding your business, who do you consult with? Is it like a gut feeling? Do you pray? Do you meditate? Do you have someone that you go to besides maybe your conservative parents?
Mm-hmm.
Where do you get that from, that support?
Yeah, so I do run everything by them, just because they're very smart, and I don't have all the answers, so they know more, they've seen more. So I do run everything by them, but I have a really awesome agent, Steve Cuoco, so I like to run everything by him. He's super awesome and smart. He gives great input. I also run everything by my marketing team, because there's a few people in there, and I know you're thinking, like, the marketing team, even for a non-marketing related situation, I still run it by them, because those people are also incredibly smart. But ultimately, everything comes down to me and how I feel about it. I like to gauge everybody's opinion, and then lastly, I'll ask my friends. I've realized that my friends will always side with me, or not even side with me, but just be like, yeah, go for it, Colby, you got this.
Yeah.
They don't quite understand the risks. My parents look at the risks too much, and my agent and everybody else give me a pretty fair shake. So I like to take all that in, and then ultimately it lies on me, and normally I will go with my gut feeling based upon the feedback that I get from everybody else, but it still boils down to me.
All right. So do you think that you're living a purpose-driven life?
I like these questions. You're good.
Thanks, Colby.
Yeah, you are welcome. And yes, I do think I am living a purpose-driven life. I do.
Awesome. That's amazing. It really is.
To expand on that, I don't know if that's one that I should expand upon right away or not.
No, you feel like you are doing what you're meant to do, what you were, put here to do. Like, you're definitely falling in line with, what your purpose is, right?
Yeah, I do. It's to help people. That's what I feel. Not just with travel, but anybody else that less fortunate, or however people want to say it these days. I agree. Yeah, I do. Yep.
Yeah,
Definitely.
you're also providing people with an experience that, life is really about experiencing moments and, having a good time and spending time with your family and loved ones. And you're facilitating that with your business, So I think
Mm-hmm.
it's amazing.
It is. It's so my mom passed away, and now all I have is just memories of she and I together, and most of them are when she and I were traveling around. So it's kind of
Right.
what I want to help open eyes to, if you will, or whatever the saying is, to everybody else, is
Right.
just go out there and do it and enjoy it, because our days are numbered, and it sucks when somebody's gone and you're still here.
Yeah, it does. But I'm sure your mom is looking down and she's so proud of you. So
I think so.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Please. Yes, absolutely. Even though you didn't finish college, it's fine, Colby. Don't worry about that.
Yeah. Yep. I'll see a lightning bolt from that one.
No, don't worry about that, please. Look at what's his name? Bill Gates. Yes.
Bill Gates. Yep.
Yes. Please. There's a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people. Everybody's path is not straight, and everybody's path is not the same. That's what I meant to say. So, we all have to do it how we're supposed to do it. And as long as we get it done and get to that end goal, that's all that matters. So
Totally
it's
agree.
all good. So thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I really enjoyed, listening to your story and what you're doing and where you're going. But this is the Oh Hell No podcast, and we have tons of Oh Hell No moments, and you've shared some with us today, but I'm sure there are plenty more. So we want you to share an Oh Hell No moment. It could be something from the past, something that happened today. Well, you shared the ones from today. So let's say this is something from the past. And an oh hell no moment is just a moment of shock. It could be experienced with someone, by yourself, it doesn't matter.
How oh hell do we want to go? Like funny oh hell or like scary or sad or bad? I think I've got some good oh hells in there.
Whatever you feel like sharing. If you want to share a funny one, that's great. If you want to share a sad one, hey, I'm down with that too. Whatever you want to share.
Okay, well let's go kind of funny then. It's a two-parter, involves my son. So the first, these were, I don't know if they were the same day or consecutive days, but they were together either way. First, my son, when he was young, he was doing like a pre-first grade thing or whatever you call it before school, and oh yeah, it was 2 days. So it was the first day. He comes up to me and he goes, "Dad, girls don't have this part here. They have a little butt in the front. I bet it smells."
Oh my God, yes. That is an oh hell no
Oh,
moment.
God,
What did you say?
I did my best to keep my laughter in, but you'll see that I don't have the best poker face. So the next day, I pick him up from his little pre-first grade. It's where they go before school starts and then after school because I work. So I'm getting him from that, and I walk in, and the teacher lady, when I walk in, just has this look, and I was like, oh boy, he broke a TV, or I'm looking around for kids crying in the corner. Maybe he punched some kid in the nose or something. I don't know, but I know that look. So I walk in, she's like, I need to talk to you. And she brings me over to this table, and there's another woman sitting there, and she gives me a dirty look as well. And I was like, oh God, what happened? And she proceeds to tell me that my son and two other boys and this woman's daughter and two other girls snuck out and tried to have a little kissing makeout session behind the tree.
Hell
And,
no.
they were 5 or 6, or I guess, I don't know how old you were in first grade, whatever, 5 or 6 or something, whatever years old. And I started laughing. I just busted out laughing. I thought that was funny. I'm expecting, a kid with a broken arm, or I'm gonna have to pay for a window or something. And it turns out they just tried to kiss each other behind this tree. So I started laughing. Teacher lady wasn't having any of that, and she threw her arms up and she's like, "Do you know how serious this is? You can't be condoning this kind of behavior." And I was like, I don't. I just, you caught me off guard with that when I was expecting something. Anyway, neither the teacher lady nor the mom would ever talk to me again, and I got dirty looks from them every single time because these kids tried to have a little makeout session. Yeah. Oh, hell no.
OMG. So are you curious to why they were doing this? Like where they saw this or?
I was, and I asked him about it, and he said, well, he didn't do anything. It was this girl and this other boy. And I was like, well, why? And, God, it's been so long. I don't really remember the exact details, but
right.
yeah, I was like, you can't do that. What are you doing? He's like, I just went with them, and yeah. Oh, hell no. Yep, it is. We all have to grow up at some point.
Yeah.
I don't know how they learn these things or where they get it, but
I know. It's
take it in stride.
Insane.
Mm-hmm.
Again, thank you, Colby. Tell everyone where they can go to book a cruise or, find out information about your business. And if you have any other personal links or handles, if you're on social media, please give us the details.
Okay, thank you. So if you want to book a cruise, you should only be calling me or going to my website. Everybody, you will not regret it. Website is Interline Cruise Connections, which is super long. So the short version is Airline Cruise, like United Airlines, but no S. So airlinecruise.com. You can find me on LinkedIn. You can find me on Twitter at Colby's Travel World, or Ask Colby. We also have another Twitter handle that I don't actually run, but our team runs, and that is just ICC, which is the acronym for Interline Cruise Connections, ICC. You can find all kinds of cool stuff there too. And then, of course, we have Ask Colby, which is in conjunction with the podcast that's going to be released sooner than later. Any of those work, or just call me. I like to talk anyway. I can talk about travel nonstop.
That's great.